to a butterfly. Little Morph.
There is a light far, far away, where there's no night.
People of the world into one vast organization to plant the banner of freedom on the great continent of Africa. If Europe is for Europeans, then Africa is for the black people of the world. Men and women as black as I am, and even more so, had believed themselves white under West Indian order of society. I was simply an impossible man to use openly the term Negro, yet everyone beneath its breath was calling the black man a nigger. I had to decide whether to please my friends and be one of the black whites of Jamaica and be reasonably prosperous, or come out openly and help improve and protect the integrity of the black millions and suffer. I decided to do the latter. There is no future for a people who deny their past. My foreparents, my grandparents, my mother and father did not suffer and die to give me an education to oppress, slight, or discourage my people. Whatsoever education I acquired out of this sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of the 400 million Negroes of the world. And the day when I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no more life for you. I unequivocally rejected the racist assumptions of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, users of wood and drawers of water. I predicated my view of man and the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men regardless of color were created in the image of God.
So many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting ourselves together, we're polishing up our act. If you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Stand in your way. I want you to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're rolling up.
Emerging from a cocoon into a caterpillar. From a caterpillar to a butterfly, the metamorphosis is here, it's live. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, word, sound and power, music, drumming, current affairs, everything to grow and lift up your mind. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, creating beauty and stimulating change from a constant supply of relevant knowledge and information.
No more youths and youths for sale. We get wise and don't decide to change their style. Bobby wrong, keep your empty promises and your crooked smile. Metamorphosis, come with your thoughts. Change your way of thinking. Metamorphosis, the change begins with you.
Men of Carthage, black men of Ethiopia, Timbuktu, Alexandria gave the light of civilization to this world. Ethiopia shall stretch forth our hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt.
I and I, soft moves, thy Jah Rastafari.
Keep listening.
Watch no face, beg no more pardon. Enough drugs, money they a cherry garden. Enough individual society applauding. You can ask anybody where them get them starting. But no politician take a donation. So no criminal will never see a station. Never see a cell, not even a courthouse. But every Sunday we see them take a boat out. North Coast Resort and car dealership. The construction company, them just don't legit. Usually wash the money, turn it round and hide it. When the kickback them come in, the government delighted. So police cancel operation, cause no real bad man a go station. Now if you check the situation, a blood money running nation. Come take a look in a Jamaica. Injustice in the place now. If what you see no really face you, then you are the problem what we face now. Was about to buy a next 16, no. Maybe then I never have to be a prisoner. Maybe then I coulda not turned in my firearm. Police couldn't come remand, come me like me run an army. Was about to be a politician too. Maybe then I coulda make any decision. Look, maybe then I make 100 million disappear. Then me act like me no care what you bought me back in there. Because this sad reality. In a Jamaica say your status or your salary. Man, the road I carry one whole heap of felony. But them have a family, a boost up in economy. So, police cancel operation.
Metamorphosis.
No real bad man a go station. Now if you check the situation, a blood money running nation. Come take a look in a Jamaica. Injustice in the place now. If what you see no really face you, then you are the it's out of many, but a one set of people feeling it. How that real society you agree to this. Things are revealed, the garbage, the machine spit. No smoke screen, a river and no conceal it. Now the system failing, the gap a get wider. A matter of time before a total divide, yeah. You cross the line, man, draw quick to remind you. If you build it on crime, then crime will have to find you. And that's how it's been always. That not frustrate you like it do to me. How much dead baby they over Jubilee? How much youths did 10 when them running at Tivoli? Now them 16 hard fry head fricassee. So police cancel up our
You better be ready. Get ready for the time has now come. Can you feel it? The greatest weapon in our oppressed mind in the hands of this oppressor. Injustice we face, still label the aggressor. Say our children in a system that will not treat no better than Marcus, Martin, Malcolm, no Mandela. Liberation will come when we stand together as one. Even when they say that it can't be.
Pull it up.
Change is gonna come. A change is gonna come. Not only just for some, but for all.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the metamorphosis? Get ready for the revolution.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the revolution? My people, you better be ready. Get ready for the time has now come.
Does hell really exist? Does heaven really exist? Are you ready for the revolution?
Label the aggressor. Say our children in a system that will not treat no better than Marcus, Martin, Malcolm, no Mandela. Liberation will come when we stand together as one. Even when they say that it can't be done, we claiming victory. You better be ready. Get ready for the revolution. You better get ready. Get ready for the time has now come. Can you feel it? The people have the power to redeem this world if they so choose. No longer will we suffer. No longer will we be used. I seen for generations indoctrinated with.
All praise unto the Most High. His last year. Rastafari. Abolish slavery right now. Pharaoh let my children go. Hey. Africa prepare, cause I'm coming home. Black man prepare, cause we going home. Africa prepare, I and I coming home. People prepare, cause we are going home. The joy you bring you, my song I sing you, the fire within you, the struggle continue, let us begin you. We got to win you, the prosecute and trim you, still praise the king you. Got to be bold and brave, they call you, settle us, they call you. Peace, babe, now look at you, with the length of days, give praise, fire off the blaze. Africa prepare, cause I'm coming home. Black man prepare, cause we going home. Africa prepare, I and I coming home. People prepare, cause we are going home.
Metamorphosis. Styles FM. Ale ones and ones. Metamorphosis live. I am your host. I'm Dr. Iman Black. Taking you through the paces, facing the changes. Easter. Critical junction in the kingdom of Christian thinking. Important day. Time for reflection on the powers that govern the earth. This is such a critical day. It forces one to reflect on the history of this day and also to reflect on the organization that promotes this day. And as an African, I have to look into the genesis and the origin of the Catholic Church. But this is an event that is glorified by the Catholic Church. It's a centerpiece of the control mechanism. Africans must remember that the Catholic Church was at the head of the enslavement process. When the Europeans pushed out of Europe to come into West Africa, the Catholic Church was at the head. So let us not forget that as ones and ones celebrate, we meditate on our journey and on the sources and the forces that have brought us to this place. So it is a time to reflect on not just the Catholic Church, but on the power that this church holds over the minds of black people in this world. And the individuals within that organization that creates a lot of sway through South America, through Africa, through the Caribbean, through North America. Everywhere they go, they leave their impression. The Roman Catholic. And they carry a brand of religion called Christianity. So there's a brand of Christianity called the Roman Catholic Christianity. And it's this Christianity that has been imposed on millions and millions of people across the world. But what really is this thing that has been on our backs from the time the Portuguese decided to make Africans a commodity? What is this thing? We hear over and over that Africa was invaded by the white man, and he came with his gun and he came with his Bible. This is become almost like a joke now, the way it is repeated. But within that whole ideology of conquest, the papacy is what we need to know. The early Rastaman did say, fire upon the Vatican. Early Rastaman said, fire upon the Pope. Fire upon the Pope of Rome. But then that man was considered to be insane. Because then the Pope was considered, and perhaps still considered, the holiest man on the planet. I'm going to show you who this man is now, So this Pope is a character that represents and is symbolic of power in the earth. Power based upon the amount of people who support the dogma of the Roman Catholic Church. So the Roman Catholic Church now is at the heart of this celebration. And at the heart of the celebration are some beliefs and some ideologies. And again, center to this belief system of the Roman Catholics is about the birth and the death and the resurrection and the ascension of the Son of Mary. It all revolves around this character and the story. And for whether you want to accept or not, or whether you want to believe or not, the book tells the people that there was a Son of God. And he died and resurrected and ascended and is waiting in the heavens. But in the meantime, he has a representative on the earth. This is where now we need to wake up. Because if you're going to hold on to the belief that the Son of God or the Son of Man is in heaven preparing a place for ones and ones on earth, then who then is this representative on the earth while the Son of God prepares? And whether you want to know it or not, this representative of the Son of God is supposed to be embodied in the Pope. Yeah, the Pope of Rome, that office, the Holy See, S-E-E. As African people, we need to explore this city, the Vatican City. And the powers that the Vatican hold over you, who hold on to some of the beliefs of Christianity given to us from the Europeans. So this Christianity produced by the Roman Catholics suggests that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, but the Pope is a vicar of Christ. V-I-C-A-R. When you look up that. What does the vicar of Christ suggest? And if that is the case, the words of the Pope coming directly from the Christ, from the God. So the Catholic Church have organized a hierarchy that leads from God to the Son to the Pope. The office of the Pope. So we have to check out now as we celebrate Easter where and how this thing really functions. And who is the Pope. Because guess what? The Pope of today's world is uttering some statements that is causing great confusion in the earth. This Pope here now called Francis has declared that there is no hell. No, I'm not telling you that out of myself now, I tell you now what the vicar of Jesus Christ now is saying. He also is uttering remarks that the souls of sinners simply vanish after their death. And we're not subject to any eternity of punishment. So what is the Pope saying to the people of the world? And whose message is he carrying? And is there any reality to what the Pope is saying? That there is no hell. Because, African people, we have been programmed to fear hell. We have been conditioned to live our lives to avoid going to hell and to preserve our souls. Now I hear a soul can all vanish. Time to think, rethink this Easter concept. So the metamorphosis now will be exploring that old binary that they put us in, called heaven and hell. The Catholic Church, of course, has a middle ground, a place that them call limbo. All those who went to Catholic school and are of the Catholic religion know that there is not just heaven and hell, but there is limbo. And there's another place called purgatory. Yeah, these are places constructed in the mind of the imagination. So that at the very, very top is heaven. At the very, very bottom is hell. And in between, you have purgatory and limbo. And all kind of things go on in there for souls. Who can document these things? We're not sure. So we're going to look into the whole idea of heaven and hell. These two ideas that haunt black people and terrify us by day and by night. And we do things to save our souls from hell. And sometimes the very same things we're doing is what taking us into heaven where everybody can hold. So we're going to look into heaven and hell as a complex idea and the forces that govern. I also want to journey into the world of sports and to examine the power generated by athletics and football and the conflict of international nations when things happen in the world of sport. So I want to look specifically now at the world of cricket with the ball tampering issue in Australia, what it means for cricket, what it means for games, what it means for morality and leadership. And we want to look at FIFA and the World Cup in Russia, what it means for the politics of the world. The Russians are now under scrutiny. They are now being accused by the West of poisoning 2 former agents. A lot of diplomats are being withdrawn from various places, taking their diplomats out of Russia. Russia is responding alike. And so there's a tension building. And I am of the view that the World Cup in Russia will be influenced in a very significant way. So we're looking into those possibilities the possibility of racism being a prominent force at this World Cup. And there's another thing I also want to raise up before we come out of the program, before it ends tonight. I want to talk about Usain Bolt and his attempt to play international club soccer in Germany. And a suggestion from a friend of mine, Dr. Azar, that Bolt should perhaps develop a league for himself, finance his own league, and bring in his own players. Is that an alternative? Should he try to make a club side, or should he form a league of professional players and insert himself? These are objects of thought. I'm thinking it through. So Metamorphosis, we dial, and we gather ones and ones, and we welcome all new listeners, welcome those who are on the journey in the moment, transforming themselves from slaves to masters of their own destiny. Metamorphosis.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Black. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Ditchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
SWAT promotion, Boom Energy Drink and Magnum Tonic Wine presents to you St. Thomas Carnival and Water Party, Colonel's Cove, Morris Bay. Music by Zone Warrior, DJ Sonny P, Craig Ross and DJ Spine from Trinidad and Tobago. St. Thomas Carnival 2018. Dress the sweat and get wet. Admission pre-sold $800 before $12, $1,000 after. Sponsored by Classic Super Shop at Morris Bay, GD&K, Golden Shore Resort. Saturday, April 7th, St. Thomas Carnival and Water Party, Colonel's Cove. Must be 18 and older to drink right.
DIB Block Factory and Hardware Supplies Limited, your home for the widest selection of building materials and hardware supplies in Portland. Shop everything from plumbing to electrical to home decor. Find unbelievable prices on tiles, toilets, basins, faucets, shower enclosures, vanity sets, doors, windows, lumbers, and much more. Get up to 25% off at DIB Hardware the last Friday and Saturday of every month with their mega month-end sale. Visit any 3 locations in Portland, Buff Bay, St. Margaret's Bay, and Port Antonio. Call 993-4415. DIB Hardware, your foundation starts with us.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
Shall not enter. These thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise to the whole man of creation.
Live Metamorphosis, continuing into this early segment, investigating the validity of what the highest ranking officer in the papacy utters to the world. The highest ranking officer in the Catholic Christendom is the Pope. Now there are a lot of people who tell us, well, my religion have nothing to do with the Pope, you know. Well, I'm going to tell you whether you know it or not. I might say, oh, I'm a Catholic, you know. He's a Pentecostal, he's a Baptist, and a Church of God. And them call a string of denominations at you. But guess what happened now? You see the overarching powers of these religious groups, the head cook is the Catholic Church. Yes, from the days of the Roman Empire, the Roman Catholic Church. And it's them who come with the Bible as the book and the word. The Roman Catholic Church. Let us not forget it. That's why ancient Rastaman used to put fire upon Rome. Man never used to worry about Babylon. Man used to burn Rome. Because Rome was the center of the control. Remember, say the Romans enter Egypt, you know, and overthrow Cleopatra, you know, and bring the Egyptian empire to a close. So let us see where we're coming from and who is it that we're facing today. So, the Pope, symbolically the head of the Roman Catholic Church. And when the Roman Catholic Church began to have its internal squabble, there was a breakup. And out of that emerged the Anglican Church. A struggle between the kingdom in England and Scotland and them tribalism. And then they were breaking off of the Anglican. And you have the Methodists and the Baptists and all other deviations. But at the foundation is the Catholic Church. Is the Catholic Church bring the teaching of Jesus? Is the Catholic Church bring the teaching of Mary and Joseph? All of those things. Is the Catholic Church bring it? So whether you're Catholic or not, you hold on to those stories. And those stories are foundation to the Christian teaching. That's why we celebrate a thing like Easter. So there's an event within the period called the Passover, which is really another term some people want to call it, like the Last Supper. But if you check what that symbolizes, you know, and you check African history, there's a serious conflict in reality, because the Bible story now tells you about the people who must put blood on them door, that when the angel of death passed in, and guess who the angel of death trying to kill? All African firstborn. You ever seen anything like that? There's no time in the history of Egypt where any firstborns were killed in a mass group. That is not reality. That's not African history. That is Bible story. And what a cruel and evil God that would wipe out all firstborn males of a society. That is brutal. That is bordering on genocide. Are these things real? Not in African history. So there's no time in Egyptian history when this event has ever taken place. But it is recorded as stories in the King James Version of reality. And so from those type of events, when we internalize it, we find ways to glorify the Savior. And people who are oppressed desire a Savior. The Savior concept now is a crucial ideology. The Hebrews were enslaved, and the Hebrews needed salvation. And the salvation they got came from within their ranks. And out of that salvation came forth a Messiah, a Savior for them, which is good. Within the black people's journey in the Western world, our oppression forced us to cry for a Savior too. And out of the womb of the black woman came a Savior in the format of Marcus Messiah Garvey. That's a Savior, to the African people out in the diaspora. And Garvey comes with the ideas and the philosophy of how to liberate ourselves. It's the same thing with the Jesus amongst the Hebrews. And within the Africans on the continent, let us bear in mind that all the countries in Africa were colonized except Ethiopia. So the symbolic head of Ethiopia now would represent the highest form of resistance to colonialism. So the salvation for Africa came out of Ethiopia in the personality of His Imperial Majesty. So the cries of the African were answered through Haile Selassie. And Selassie came into the political arena and organized the Organization of African Unity and brought African states together politically. That is an aspect of salvation. So saviors emerge in all cultures where people are being oppressed and have a hard time. So we respect the Hebrew savior, which is the Jesus, and we respect the savior of the African continent, which is Haile Selassie, and we respect the savior of the black people in the diaspora, Marcus Messiah Garvey. The Chinese have their own salvation, They have the people who emerge in out of them culture to provide philosophy and leadership. Confucius, as an example. So, first of all, we don't want to be overwhelmed with this concept of a savior. And that salvation means the saving of our souls. Because here we go now with the concept of the soul. And this is what the Pope is suggesting now. Because this idea of the soul has been taught to us now again by these same Europeans. It's them come to us with this idea of soul. And they tell us that we have to save our souls. And that salvation now comes when you live a certain way and conduct a certain way, your soul shall be saved. Because if not, you shall perish in hell. Here today, the Pope is telling the world that there is no hell. So what is the condition of the mind if you are told for 2,000 years that there is a hell to be afraid of, and overnight you're here that there is no hell? You have a question now. What is this concept called soul that you have been trying to save? Is it the sole of your feet? That is the important soul? Or is this thing that is invisible? We have to check soul. And as an African, we have to compare now soul with spirit. The Africans always had a spirit. What is this thing called soul that can be sold? Metamorphosis.
The road is so foggy, foggy. The road is so foggy, foggy. My way is long, but the road is foggy, foggy. My way is long, so long, but the road is foggy, foggy. It never swell, my heart never lit, I never have no fear from within. My head never swell, my heart never lit, I never have no fear from within. So the road is so foggy, foggy, yeah. Can hardly see. Jaja is my eyesight. Be with I, be with I. Jaja, be with I. Hi, 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 hi.
to delve into this identity character now, named the Pope, P-O-P-E. It's an office that we need to know more about, because the forces that rule are not just economic and political. There are some forces that are deeper than that. Psychic forces that are driven by religious ideas, affect your psyche in some ways that you would never imagine. As I said, the Pope was at the head of the colonization movement. It was the Pope or the papacy who decided to divide the world between Africa, share up the whole world between Europe and between Spain and Portugal. When Spain and Portugal went to war, the Pope interceded and drew a line to separate the world. One part of the world would belong to Portugal, one part of the world would belong to Spain. This is the power of the office, you know. They must share up the whole of the resources of the world amongst themselves. And them couldn't solve it because of war, so them go to the Pope. So this office is a very critical and important office in world affairs. The Vatican City have their own post office and their own army and own. It's a little city and it's a world unto itself. So this Pope here now is recognized as the 266th Catholic Pope. So it's long time the papacy is around. And this is the first Pope to be born outside of Europe. So him come with a different cultural mindset. Same ideology, but a different cultural influence. Because this Pope was born in Argentina to an Italian family. Now, let us not be naive in thinking that as far as the office of the Pope is concerned, it's only Europeans have been in the office. Because the history of the Pope, papacy tells us that there were 3 popes that were Africans. Yeah, in the 2nd century. So the office is a serious place. And we have to examine now the words and the utterances from the leadership, because this office of the Pope insists that it is the closest link to Jesus the Savior. And for all the African people and black people who accept Jesus as their Savior, they can't overlook the Pope. They can't. Because it's out of the teachings of the Pope why these people even come to know about this Jesus the Christ. So the words of the Pope are important to the minds of the people in the world. So the Pope has now uttered that there is no hell. And not only has he uttered that there is no hell, he began to speak about the nature of the soul. That there are good souls and there are bad souls. Now, most of you accept these basic ideas, you know, because we're locked up in the binary of good and evil. So there's a good and there's an evil. So if there's a concept called soul, then there's a good soul and there's an evil soul. Now, I have a little friend that I am moving around with, and this is just a little diversion. We ended up having a little discussion about whether evil was the same thing as being wicked. Whether wicked and evil is the same thing. Whether I them thing. Is one more deadly than the other? Wicked or evil? Because we know what is good and evil, you know. So what is wicked? Wicked is more intense. But we have the binary to work with. And in that binary now we have good and evil. So we have good soul and bad soul. We have good cup and bad cup. And we just analyze everything within the concept of good and bad. We overlook oftentimes now indifference. Indifference is a third and a mighty force. A force which is neither good nor bad. It's like the neutron in the electron and the proton unit that we call the atom. So we're respecting the third force all the time. But for the moment, we deal with how they teach you about good and bad. So there's this good soul and this bad soul. And you must try to spend your life now that in a way when you die, you will die with a good soul. And in this accomplishment of a good soul now, that soul now will be preserved and taken up, they say, into heaven. And the bad soul now, we're told, will be taken down, would go down into the bottomless pit. And that soul would burn for eternity in the bottomless pit. That was the program for 2,000 years. The most dreaded construction that the mind could face. Fire that can't out. So this soul idea now became very important to black people because with the acceptance of the soul, them tell us that the body don't really count anymore. The body now, them say, is expendable. So you can work it to death. But make sure you preserve your soul. So we slave from age 16 to age 60. And then now we start concerned about our soul when our body don't wear out. But here comes the new news. There is no hell. Everything hell, all things going pop loose now, you know. Because if there is no hell, it opens the door to question, is there really a heaven? Is there really a heaven? And if there is a heaven, we know that there's a limited amount of space available there. We know that because the same book called the Bible tells you that there's a limited amount of persons that will hold in the new earth. They actually quote the number. They say 144,000 souls shall be saved. 144,000. Right now we have 7 billion souls on the planet. And I can't tell you how many billions passed through already. But out of all of those billions and billions and billions of souls, it's only 144,000 can get saved. You know, so it's a confusion that. You know, so it's insanity that. You talk about crab in a barrel? What a race. The Pope has become awakened to a reality. And the Pope decided to expose it. They might take him out for that, but him say it already. Because what I'm doing now is tinkering with the entire system. Because you see, if there's no hell, there's no place for the devil to live. The whole thing start mash up, you know. And if there's no devil, you don't need Jesus to save you, you know. You know, since the whole dolly was pull up. We are going to look into this carefully, you know. Because the Pope pull a plug. And pull a plug when enough black people afraid to think of that there is no hell. And if there's no hell in the spiritual world, is there a hell on earth? Is there a hell on earth? Does hell relate now to the conditions of your existence? And does heaven relate to the conditions of your existence? You have water. You have light. you have medical supplies that you need. You have those basic things you need. You have shelter. Perhaps the absence of those things is really hell, you know. Yeah, man, when you reduce to beggardom, that could be the real hell. So we're giving thanks that the Pope has opened the door for I and I to enter. Enough time into the Rastaman, I show you say, not no go so. We burn out them kind of thing there. But now, when the highest authority in Christendom make that utterance that there is no hell, then I with my little brain can think that if there is no hell, then there is no heaven, and if there is no devil, then there is no God, and then the whole house start fall down, and when the house fall down, one thing is left, it's just the I. Metamorphosis.
Jah be praised. The goose and the ghost, let Jah be praised. The Daniel Lamb, let Jah be praised. Let him be praised. Let him be praised. You better let him be praised.
spread the hills from his chambers, and the earth is satisfied, so satisfied. He maketh the grass to grow for animals. Jah made the herb for
Victor the first African Pope. So the office really has no regard for what race you are. Office is about power, control, domination. First through armaments, when the Roman Empire was at its highest level. But as the Roman Empire declined militarily, they remained in power through the ecclesiastical states, through religion and through ideology. Rome still rules.
Now scatter, shatter, batter, and flatter. As the smoke is driven away, Jah, drive them away. As the wax melted, let them be melted, Jah Jah. Exhibir, let Jah be praised. Daniel, let Jah be praised. The goose and Nagas, let Jah be praised. You better let him be praised. Let him be praised. You better let him be praised. I said let him be praised. Oh, lightning.
The Pope, also known as the Supreme Pontiff, is the Bishop of Rome, and therefore is the ex-official leader of the worldwide Catholic Church. He has the title the Vicar of Christ, which is the earthly representative of Christ. So you better know where you deal with those who celebrate in Easter and the birth and death and resurrection and ascension of Christ. Because if Christ is waiting at the heavens, then who is this vicar and representative of that Christ on earth? Is it really the Pope? Check it out. You could be a dope.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
On Saturday, April 14th, Oasis Sports Bar in Hope Baytown Square presents their first anniversary.
Me, I drink pine and ginger. And mommy for wine, pan thing, I'm gonna play it.
Musical entertainment by Big of Five. Admission is free. Complimentary shots. Lock the date. April 14th. Oasis Sports Bar. Hope Baytown Square. Get there.
This event is endorsed by Styles 96 FM.
It's Wow Factor Tuesdays with Chungy and Shelly. Every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's entertainment and interaction at its best. With features like the Share to Care segment, the Uprising 10 Countdown, and the ever-controversial Love Break. Yes, it's the Wow Factor. Your Tuesday mornings will never be the same again.
Wow Factor Tuesdays is sponsored by Wholesale Photo Lab Studio and DocuCenter and Bobby's Cafe Bar and Grill.
Remember Styles FM on social media. View us on YouTube, Styles FM Radio. Follow us on Instagram at Styles FM. Like us on Twitter at Styles FM 961. Become a fan on Facebook, Styles FM 96.1.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Black. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Yes, Metamorphosis continuing to look into this office of might and power in the earth. Africans have been conditioned to seek for spiritual powers and ignore economic and political power. But we have done that at our own expense. Because political power is crucial in terms of controlling land and resources. If we concentrate too much on spiritual power, we will always be poor, materially. And to be materially poor is a bitch, and is a drudgery. It brings a lot of pain and suffering and a tormenting now of the same soul. Yes, you are tormented. So we're looking again a little bit now at what the Pope and the office represent, and the significance of a relationship between the Pope and slavery of African people. The Pope have the power to issue what is called a papal bull. Papal bull is a official decree or an attempt to clarify a doctrine sometimes. And one of the critical treaties that came out of the Pope was a treaty called the Treaty of Tordesillas. Tordesillas. This was in 1494. And when we understand what this treaty did and how it affects African people, we may have a different view of this whole religion that we are embracing. Because when the Europeans sailed out of Europe and came out of the caves and realized the world had populations of millions of people who were all melanin people, when them sailed out and buck up the people, they came with ideas of conquest and domination in their mentalities. They didn't sail out with the idea to become friendly with persons and cultures that they would meet. It was all about domination, extermination, cultural appropriation. Everything that was destructive came with these people. So such warlike behavior they carried out, that in conquering and fighting for the world, they end up warring with each other to an extent that they realize that it's becoming destructive amongst them own selves. So to cut it short, they had to be a referee. And the major players were Spain and Portugal. They were dominant on the seas. They had the conquistadors, the man who we were given to us as heroes. You know, the man who sailed out into West Africa and became heroes. These colonizers. We know them as Francis Drake and these guys. But ultimately, because of the conflict and the desire to ease the conflict, these two countries ended up signing a treaty in 1494. And this treaty divided what is called the newly discovered countries outside of Europe. To divide these countries between two empires, the Portuguese and the Spanish. So in 1494 now, they don't tell us much about that. They must tell us that Columbus discovered the Caribbean in 1494. But this region became, well, not even the region. We just want to focus a little bit on the powers that created that separation. So the Pope and the papacy are responsible for dividing the world, giving one section to Spain, one section to Portugal. Now, in 1884-85, the Europeans came together at a conference and they decided to share up the world again amongst themselves. They call this one now the Berlin Conference. This was overseen not by the papacy, but by the European powers, the same white men them. So both of these groups of people have the same interests, colonization and conquest. And the office of the papacy has been at the head of colonizing African people. So the book that they bring with them, the Bible, is a chief weapon of colonization. And the colonization that book promotes is not that of the land, because the military takes care of that. This is colonization of the mind. So the mind becomes colonized and you remain a slave even when the chains are removed physically. And at the core of these mental chains are the ideas that come through Roman Catholic Christianity. The idea of a God that has chosen people. Yeah, as a youth, it always befuddled me. How could God have chosen people? So that means he's a biased God. And you read the story and the myth of Adam and Eve, that he favored one son over the other, that God was a biased God. So it is that Lord God now that Africans have committed themselves to. And that is the concept now that we must free ourselves from. And the Pope is a good way to investigate that Lord God. Because it is that Lord God that's supposed to be the ruler now of the place called heaven. So before you get there now, heaven have a biased leader. Before you get there, there's discrimination based upon race and perhaps gender, because within the construct of the Bible, women them don't get no precedence, no place. So the question comes then, what is this heaven now that I and I have always been pursuing? What is this concept called heaven? And why it has to be after earth? Why is it we're not viewing Africa as the core of heaven? Why are we not looking at the land and the resources and the things that can make us live in a heavenly condition? We were once in that state, before the invasion of the Arabs and before the invasion of the Europeans. But we have lost our consciousness. Much of our consciousness now is focused not on the earth, but in a distant place in the future that exists in some faraway galaxy. They call it heaven. And it is a place of refuge for those who are afraid of going to hell. But if there is no hell, we need to focus on earth. Metamorphosis. And shine, we need to do that with knowledge and to escape superstitions and fears. So we want to delve into this thing now called the soul. Because nearly all of us get the impression that man have a soul. We hear that over and over, We hear it sometimes without questioning it. So we all have a soul. And you ask them if animals have a soul, them say no, animals don't have souls. Does the tree have a soul? No, the tree don't have a soul. So we want to know, what is this thing called soul now that man is claiming that he has, that other living things don't have? And what is it that I'm going to try to save now when I'm dead? Because it all come down to that now, the concern about when the body expires. What happens to the energy in which is obviously active, even as I and I speak? What happens to that energy? So there's a great amount of speculation, philosophizing, all sorts of methods are used to explore the idea of a soul, because it begins with an idea. And sometimes if you want to find the genesis of ideas about ourselves and our makeup, we have to start from the egg and the sperm. We have to start at the genesis that I and I know. Where does the soul enter? How does the soul come into existence between the egg and the sperm? Does the sperm have a soul? Does the egg have a soul? Or does a soul come into being when they collide, and therefore it has an existence in a dimension that we don't know? How do it really go? And how can we know, or can we know? And what is critical about knowing or not knowing is about thinking. We have to begin to think. not just ingest these cliches and phrases from the generations that have gone long before, and we just pass them on to our children and they don't think. We now have to make thinking a part of our activity. So we're going to think it out. And when you're thinking, I don't want you to muscle up. I don't want you to muscle up and think, you know. I want you to relax and think. So now, this soul idea now, this idea of a soul, how are we informed to come to any idea or conclusion about the soul? Well, we have to look into our socialization processes, we have to look into our embryology, we have to check some other disciplines. But we're going to start with embryology. And we'll say when the egg and the sperm collide, do we have any evidence that anything called soul exists? And what happened within the sperm itself? Does the sperm have a soul? And the sperm them that don't connect and create life, when they fade away in the body of the female, what happened? The soul disappear? Hey, maybe the Pope know a thing, you know. So, we'll check out the genesis of the soul. So we have to look at the spermal level, we have to look at the level of the egg. We have to look at the possibility that when they both collide, energy is manifested now from that collision. Can we call the energy soul? And if so now, what is it we call in spirit? What then would we call spirit? So we can see these two terms already now come to fore, you know. Soul and spirit. And it don't done yet because them tell you say you must use your mind. So you see ultimately now you have to identify what is this thing now called mind. So we have soul, spirit and mind. And then the Rastaman tell you about I. So, with those four things, are any of those things tangible? Are any of those concepts tangible? I mean, you can't touch it, feel it, and smell it, or taste it. Any of those four concepts? I, the soul, the mind, or the spirit. All right? One thing is foundational without having these ideas, that there must be a base. And the base now is the physical structure. The physical structure now is the base, you know, because without that now we can't even talk about nothing. So the foundation is the body. So I don't want one going to know that the body no important, you know. It's a foundation, it's a temple now. And from that now we're going to search now to find this thing called spirit and soul. Which one do we really have as a people and which one can be lost? Can you lose your mind? You ever hear some people lose their mind? Or something can drop out? It's an idea. Where is your mind? Where you keep it? Them say people all have bad mind. So does that mean if you have a bad mind, you have a bad spirit too? Or is the mind and the spirit different? And how does that relate now to your soul? Can you be a good soul with a bad mind? Can you be an evil spirit with a good mind? I say these things, you know, because I want them interrogate these concepts. Because we have to drop some of them, you know. We have to Lego some of them because maybe some of them are the same. But one thing we know exists before we engage with those ideas is that the body is a reality. The body is a reality. The body is a temple, a physical temple upon which all of these other things now must rest. So we can begin the search now by recognizing how the body constructs and what are the powers within the body. And the essential power, besides the heart and the lungs and the physical thing to keep the body going, is the brain. The brain, we're going to say, is the master organ. But I'm going to tell you a joke, and then we're going to take a break. I read a thing one long time ago, you know, that when the body was being put together by divine forces, when the body was finished, put together, all the parts of them started quarreling amongst themselves. one big argument as to who and which part is the most important part of the body, which organ is the most important. And one big argument starts. And you know the heart just step and say, well, hear me now, nothing can go on unless me pump, you know. And the man them say, hey, so the brain step in and say, well, you know, it's me direct things, you know, and this and that. And everybody come up with a part to define. The legs say, oh, without me, you can't go nowhere. One argument start. All of a sudden, the anus, you know what the anus is? The anus apply for the job. And the rest of the body start laugh. Everybody start laugh. Every part start laugh. And the anus just get vexed and shut up. You see when them lock up, the eye them start get wobbly. The brain start get fuzzy. So, long and short of it, it's in order to be in control, you don't really have to be a brain. You just have to be an ass. Check Trump. Metamorphosis.
Now this was just another day. Ooh-wee. Stay until I looked in your eyes. I didn't think until I felt the good touch of your hand. And from within me, my glad heart began to sing. Sing a little song which says, don't let her go. Now aren't you old enough to know that she's the one? One in a million, under the sun. So you don't even know her name. You wanna dance over again, over again and again and again, over again and again. 'Cause this was just another day. Ooh-wee, I don't want to be late, so I step up without a single word. Now my woman dressed in a cultured dress, and look how she moved her way, and all of a click when the lights turned on, and I saw her beautiful face. Something told me, don't let her go.
So we're continuing the exploration to try to find his soul. So when the egg and the sperm lick up, and we know that an individual comes into existence. There was no individual before, you know. We had cells, gametes. And when the male cell went in search of the female, it was a race that was defined by the most determined of the sperm. The sperm with the greatest amount of will power would win the race. So we begin to see even within these energies, characteristics like willpower. And then we look at the egg now, we think the egg is governed by the powers of desire. Because the egg desires to be fertilized. So there's desire and will in motion, nature at work. And we remember now, you know, we are searching for something called soul. So the egg has its ambition, and the sperm, you know, there's millions of sperm get shot out one time, and a one get in, you know. Millions die along the way, you know. Imagine, it's like a marathon, you know. Imagine when all 6 or 7 or, imagine all 100 leave. 100 sperm leave, and them turn the corner for go on the final lap. And when them look and see the tape, and man look on one and say, oh, nah, lose this, you know. there is determination by the sperm that enters the egg. And not only there's their determination, there must be a willingness on the part of the egg to accept the sperm, because the egg don't take any sperm, you know. It's the vibration and the frequency that determines which sperm enter. So things going on, activity going on to define the individual that will become a being at that point in time. So this living being that's going to come into existence, that's going to have its individuality. They might tell you now, say that thing have a soul already. So what is the soul of that egg and sperm? I don't think anything goes so, you know. I don't think anything airy-fairy goes so, you know. But we're going to follow the journey through embryology. And I'm saying to the item now, as the individual multiply and go through mitosis and meiosis and the various processes of evolution at the cellular level, we get cells and we get tissue and we get organs. And at the level of organs now, we begin to talk about consciousness. And the first organ of consciousness is the skin, responsible for experience of sensations. And to say the concept of soul, it could be equated to the skin, because this is going to be our covering, you know. This is going to be the covering. This is going to be our protection, our soul. This is as African people. So I just say my skin is the nearest thing to the concept of soul. And surely I will always want to save my skin. Now, who don't want to save them skin though serious? And there are powers now in the skin, just like there are powers that's supposed to be generated from the soul. There are vibrations that are released by the skin, and there are vibrations that are accepted by the skin. So we're not going to dismiss the skin as something that is just for perspiration. It's an organ of sensation, it deals with vibrations, and it is a soul. It is a protector of all that is within. But what really is it now that is within, that the soul is protecting? It protects a major organ called the brain. And it's from the brain now we get this consciousness of the I. So I'm saying no, African people don't need to claim a soul that needs to be saved for in the future life. Because we have a soul as with skin. And we have a spirit, which is the I. What then is the brain? What then is the mind? Those two seem to be closely related. The brain-mind. We're sure of the brain, you know, because the brain is in our heads, tangibly. The mind seems to be an extension, a creation of the brain. The mind can be a force field of energy that surrounds us. In the same way the fetus is in the ocean, in the same way the ocean could be like the mind. Philosophy, psychology, metamorphosis.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
Babes, just follow me now. Right over there, sir. Through that hole there.
But babes, be careful if you go in. The place too dark.
Just right over there, sir. Right over where the hole there.
Aye, man, our mosquito bite me. Bills me no like come on them place after dark, you know.
So wait, are they like a bat them afraid of? Come on, we almost reach.
And them something I make can't bother with, you know. That's why we make sure walk with all my Bible. You think me gonna make rolling calf reach me like last year? But kiss my brown fall, how them people are, how the place is so crowded, how when them
Fan Fusion Episode 5, Tipsy Islands, Saturday, July 7th, starting at 7 p.m. sharp at the Bayview Waterfront Property, Oysters Bay, Port Antonio. Be there.
Who said that woman can done? And them said the woman don't come to done.
This feeling is taking over me. I'm so excited.
What? Feel the euphoria.
Tuesdays from 5 to 9 p.m. with the Master Mixer Musical Maestro Digital Team.
Giving a total satisfaction with melodies and memories by the score. With the widest selection of genres and hits. So you don't know that program you turn up, you know. So you know Patek's a full dance, the one you slap with.
Digital and we are party. Yeah, we flawless. Euphoria the program. Every Tuesday.
5 to 9. Every Tuesday.
With the Musical Maestro Digital.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Black. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Ditchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Roping and tuning to Metamorphosis.
Cause this rhythm is vital. Check C. Come on and groove me. I said to Roping. Cause this session is vital.
Jambo, vipi, karibuni katika kipindi cha Doc Iman Black. Kipindi chaitwa Metamorphosis. Jifundishe, elimika na mwelimike.
That is a metamorphosis in Swahili. You think it's a local? Yeah, we'll check out how we come to our knowledge about this concept called soul. For what I just uttered before, you know, hardly nobody going to want to even examine or agree with that, you know. Because that's not the traditional perspective of what soul is. Soul has nothing to do with skin according to them. Soul knows the religious concept. And how do we get our religious ideas? From the Roman Catholic book called the Bible. And how is it introduced? In the book of Genesis. This is the most popular place to get the idea of soul. And it's in the book of Genesis. And of course, we have been programmed to believe that this book is a reflection of the genesis of the whole universe and the beginning of man and mankind. And everything is in that. One book orchestrated by King James. And so we read it now with great amount of tremor. And in the first book now called the Genesis, they tell us how we came into the world and how the world came into being out of nothingness from a being that was always here and can never be nowhere or everywhere and can be everywhere at the same time. And so we read now in Genesis chapter 2. This is a story now that takes African people outside of their consciousness and puts the Africans within the context of a fable. It's called the fable of Adam and Eve. This is a fable where the consciousness of Africans are reversed and the woman now comes out of the man. For the first time, birth is in reverse. It's the first time nature is totally reversed. Where within procreation, it is now the male who is delivering the female out of his bones. High mythology. This is where African people lose themselves to accept things that are outside of nature. And it gets even more complicated now. Because in this chapter 2, which is not an African story now, the African story is more relevant in chapter 1. When the God of creation said, let us make man, male and females, and send them out to multiply and replenish the earth. That is more relevant to the African experience. Chapter 2 now speaks about this male called Adam and this bone creation called Eve. And this introduction of favoritism and bias and murder, all the evils that befuddle society today. Now we hear that this is the central point. This is the beginning now of evil. And in this beginning of evil story, it tells us that the Lord God formed man of the dust. Now, I man is not of the dust. I man is of egg and sperm. I man is of a liquid environment. And all Africans, through our procreation process, none of us came out of dust. So we cannot accept a mythology now, or a fable, that shows our beginning coming out of dirt. We burn that. We reject that outrightly. Because I and I have our traditions and stories long before we come into contact with these Europeans. They are writing and telling us now about a beginning that they know of. And I'm telling you now that this male in chapter 2, remember now, chapter 2 is after the 7th day of creation. And in the 7th day of creation, the Lord of creation rested. And on the 6th day, the God of creation made man, capital M, males and females. So chapter 2 now speaks about a male being created out of dirt. This is not Africans. This is not black people. If you look at this story from a distance. So when this male is created, we are told that the Lord God formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into the nostrils the breath of life. And that man became a living soul. This is where I and I become first exposed to this idea of a soul. So there's a connection in this fable that the breath of life is the soul of man. That the soul is the breath. And if you hold your breath too long, you lose it. And if you lose your breath, you lose your life. But what about this concept of judgment now? How does the soul become judged? And who determines where the soul go when the physical expire? What happens to the breath? Does the air maintain its identity and consciousness of the individual? The air that we breathe? Can that be the soul? Because we hear now that there are some denominations who don't accept that man has a soul. But it is all coming from the original writings suggesting that man became a living soul. So how do we negotiate these ideas as African people? Because this living soul thing serious, Is it that the entire being is a living soul? Or is it that is the breath is the soul? And then what then do we speak about when we say the spirit? What then is the spirit of man? How can we talk about spirituality and spiritual warfare? What is the basis of the spirit of man? And at the end, as they call it, death, do these energies continue to exist? Is there a journey? Does your identity remain in place? Or is identity a social construct? Is identity constructed socially? And therefore, if it's a social construct, when the physical expire, wouldn't that identity also collapse? We are check out the soul thing, because me is a man who don't sure about this soul to be saved. I tell you, it's money I want to save. So, we are check ourselves. Because ultimately, we are responsible for our own existence. And if we don't have any soul that can perish, then we have to let go that struggle and more move towards claiming that is what is more positive within ourselves, which is the I. And the I exists because the brain exists. And the I exists because the pineal gland exists within the brain. And the pineal gland is the seat of consciousness. René Descartes called it the soul of man, the seat of the soul. So perhaps we have to reflect on how I and I is constructed and put the things in perspective. There's nothing to save outside of the I. And the I is infinite. The I is eternal. The I is consciousness. And there's no beginning and there's no end to consciousness. Like energy. Cannot be created, cannot be destroyed, only transformed. And within the I, the transformation is generational. So we focus on the now, taking care of self and family. Metamorphosis. When the African people started to produce something called soul music, and when we started to create soul food, what were we referring to when we said soul? What was the essence of the food? What was the essence of the music? Even the style of hair, we once had a soul. We have to check the language, because the soul of the African perhaps a whole different construct than what the European is calling soul. Because remember now, we are endowed with melanin and pigmentation that must be part of our soul. Check it. Check yourself. Check our construct. What is it that we should be saving? Money, our integrity, our family, our relations. Presently, this salvation of the soul within the religious world is a way to take away the people's money. You have to pay to be saved. And imagine you can only be saved through one name. That's what you call a monopoly on the soul. So all people who have souls and don't know Jesus, sorry for no. That them I tell you, That them I tell you. Make you check yourself. Seriously.
What are you doing
Yes, the whole world suffering from illusions. If we spend all our time trying to save our soul, what then is the value of the mind? What is spend so much time now going to school and educating yourself for? Are you trying to develop your soul? Or you want to develop your mind? And how do we exercise now the power of the intellect? Yes, the intellect. The intelligence, no, that's supposed to be driving behavior. How do we develop intelligence? What is the role of the I and the intellect? What is the role of the mind? And where do you keep your mind? Is it in your head? If you ask a man where your mind is and point him head, generally where your mind is, when a man says, hey, if you use your mind, I'm usually point him forward, or him head. Does that suggest that the mind is inside your head? And is the mind the size of your brain, or is it smaller than your brain to fit into your head? How you know where your mind is? What is it? How does it function? Can you lose it? Can you develop your mind? So we have to re-examine these concepts. Because is the mind more important than the soul? How does the mind relate to your thinking? And ultimately know what is the role of the brain as it connects to the mind? Are they connected? Are they separate? Are they the same? So with all of these various aspects of ourselves, we have to know whether there's anything to save from any damnation and anything to save from any fire. Because if there's nothing to save from damnation and fire, all our focus should be on earth now. Right now. Activity. And so those who control the forces of power will perhaps feel a little bit more uneasy if people will begin to focus on the now. Because the now is where it's at. But the soul concept now make you feel like you can deal, you survive now because there's a greater to come in the future. Because your soul shall be saved. Well, I said to them now, make you check out this soul saving. How do we save our children from oppression? How do we save ourselves that we are saved from financial bankruptcy? So we're searching for the mind. We're looking for the spirit. Because we hear say man is made up of three parts: mind, body, and is it spirit or soul? Are there 4 parts to man? The ancient Egyptians thought that there were 7 parts. Yes. They even consider the shadow to be an aspect of man. The Ba and the Ka, life force. So we don't have to be locked up into this construction by the Europeans through religion. And we have to be constructed by Sigmund Freud in our psychology. That we have an ego and an id and a superego. We have to revisit our own self through the lens of our own eyes. Because in reality, it is ideas that run the world. Ideas rule the world. And ideas emerge out of the, not the soul concept, but out of the brain of man. Yes, ideas come out of the brain. Because we think. And out of the power of thoughts, we get our ideas. So even the idea of a soul comes from the brain. Yeah. And if you begin to recognize and respect the power of the brain, you begin to respect yourself. Because the self is just a manifestation of the I and the me. A different thing that now we're gone into, but it's true. We are not constructed in the European format with this ego and id and superego. I'm going to suggest that there's an I and there's a me and there's myself. I'm not calling it the Black Trinity. Reese positioning African psychology to be free from European tyranny. Me, myself, and I And collectively, we are a force to reckon with. There's no soul to save. Anything that needs to be saved is ourselves and the nation and the race of black people. Metamorphosis.
Economic liberation is a duty I owe to posterity. Great Zimbabwe stands, ancient rock solid firm from now. Draco go down.
There is a WhatsApp, and the person is asking about where can they get copies of this program online. Well, there are a couple of sites that you can go. You can check my website at imanblak.com, imanblak.com. You can also go to Styles FM radio, and you can see the previous programs, and you can have access to what's happening tonight, and so on and so forth. So it's available for all persons. If you're not able to listen to the program live, you can go online. You can check Iman Black website, www.imanblak.com. And on that website, you'll see things of interest, I hope. There's a bookstore there. You can pass through and patronize the eye. And there's also a podcast with broadcasts of sports and other issues. So that will take care of that. And we're healing up D. D is a serious soldier, revolutionary youth man. Heal up Sexy from Galena and all the people down there in St. Mary. Heal up Charles, people in Richmond. Heal up Pauline and our twins. See that you celebrated their birthday recently, the two youths them. Let's go and go through. Heal up the people in Port Antonio and Portland generally. Heal up the people in St. Thomas. Heal up a man who have a shop up in Hampton Court. Heal up Shalon. Yes, and all the people in that district. Yes, give thanks for listening. And then I must just pass through the man shop and do him a favor. Heal up to Sewell and all the St. Thomas technical people. And we go right across the parish, right through Marantby into Harborview, Kingston, St. Andrew. And I heal up to the people around the island of Jamaica. And of course, Kasha Block, if you're still here, hail, down in Western Portland. And we're in the people in the North American scenario, all my Canadian listeners. Names, too many names to mention, but they them know themselves. And in North America, the people in the US of A suffering under great anxieties within that administration. But you got to stay strong and stay focused, and it's time to focus on your spirituality, which is grounded in your blackness. So I hate that for the nails and the eels and the eels, and the metamorphosis continues right through.
We can trace our steps through botany and etymology. You can't hide the truth forever from me. Can't hide the truth forever from me. Yeah, where me mess up, what is revealing is only right and true. We are standing on the soil that made you. Standing on the soil that made you. Standing on the soil that made you. Yeah, are you standing? Zimbabwe wants, great Zimbabwe wants, great Zimbabwe wants.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
This is Ricardo Suave, inviting you to tune into Smoothic, the show for the ladies, with DJ Prestige, from 9 to midnight every Tuesday on Styles 96.1 FM, Portland's best.
I've been watching you.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Black. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Ditchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Africa dafa baxna ki dafa nya ki dafa rafet wan ma ci ki bunjul ki dafa bunjul wan nya deke saway ki dafa bunjul wan ma ci ki bunjul ki dafa bunjul dafnen rafet yo men tamé ndax ngama gat dafnen rafet yo men tamé ndax ngara dafnen rafet yo men tamé ndax ngara did you know that's a richer Africa did you know that's a richer Africa did you know said the whole world love it, did you know? Said the whole world love it. Be proud of your culture. Be proud of that what you got. Be proud, you got to hold on to it. Be proud of your culture. Walking down the road in Germany, reggae music playing, and this is what one man was saying. Was ist denn das? Was ist schade? Ich kann nicht anders.
Yes, the metamorphosis continuing. We're exploring this Alkebulan section. We go into our story, the way we know ourselves from the perspective of the African. Because stories are told from perspectives. From the position of the writer, we are given the story. And all of the things that influence the writer will influence the story. It's politics, it's economics, it's religion, it's philosophies. Everything that influences an individual who's a writer will be reflected in the writings. So we know that if you're colonized and conquered by a people, most of your literature will be presented to you from their perspective. So we have always been exposed to literature from the perspective of the conqueror, the colonizer. And those information is never to make you rise up and to challenge and to liberate yourself. It is simply to maintain the status quo. So the culture of Africa is always important to embrace, as well as the history, in order to solidify what you call your identity, your culture and your history. And what balances that out now is your perspective. So you have the knowledge of the culture, and you have the knowledge of the history, and you have the wrong perspective, you're way off. Your identity will be confused. Don't forget those aligned. But when we speak about African culture, we must not limit it to just the culture of the people on the continent. Because we have to expand it to the culture of black people. And there are black people in places far, far different and away from the African continent. And I want to just make a reference to a people that is not spoken of often, but they have a history and an anciency that is mind-blowing. Most of our knowledge comes through the British education system, as we were colonized by the British. And so we only know what they tell us, basically. Those who were colonized by the Spanish would know the things that the Spanish or the Spain would want their colonized communities to know. But here we are celebrating Easter. And there's a place in the world called Easter Island. I want them make a note of this place, Easter Island. And it's not in the Atlantic, it's more in the other great ocean, the Pacific Ocean. And we have to recognize now the black populations from that region of the world. We can't just lock up wrong yourself and go and like say, this is the world, you know. The Pacific Ocean is great, has vast amount of islands. And there are an island archipelago that consists of Melanesia, Polynesia, and Micronesia. These are black people with thousands of years of culture and history. So when we talk about culture, it goes wide and deeper than just saying African. Because these people have their own genesis. And if we begin to respect now blackness as the foundation, even to the Africans and their spirituality. So Easter Island now is a set of islands in the Pacific. And one of the things I want to just make mention about Easter Island is that on these islands, there are some, what are we going to call them? Oversized statues. Some heads, oversized heads, made out of stone. Giant, oversized statues made out of stone. The people, they call them Rapa Nui, R-A-P-A-N-U-I. And what is so significant about these stones? Over 800 of them. All the features are features of black people. In the mid-Pacific Ocean, over 900 monuments. The Europeans say they discovered them in the 13th to the 14th century. So while the Pope was administrating and dividing the world between Spain and Portugal, we have evidence of African black culture in the Pacific Ocean, creating monuments that we thought were only evident in South America and in Africa. So who built these monuments and where did the technology come from? So I and I broader than they want us to think. These things are engineering feats. And the European doesn't explain it because he doesn't want to give credit to black people and the knowledge of black people before they captured us. They want to think that our experience began in 1494 and everything started around Columbus. But if we look into the wider globe, we see ourselves. We see black culture. So check out Easter Island as we celebrate Easter and learn more about the power and the glory of the culture of black people. Metamorphosis.
scream. Hey, hey, it's here in this world and it's reigning supreme.
These statues are considered to be the most logic-defying statues on the planet. What I say? The most logic-defying statues on the planet are on Easter Island. Who are the natives? Who are the original inhabitants? They say that Easter Island emanates a magnetic, mysterious vibe. Yeah, that sound black. That sound cultural. May I say no for this Easter? Explore Easter Island. Get in touch with the knowledge of ourselves, not just from the Atlantic side of the earth, but how is it we function from the Pacific? Who are the people of Melanesia? Why them call them Melanesian people? Is it because they have melanin? What's the link between the melanin people and the people of the Melanesian islands? And the Polynesians and the Micronesians? These are names given to black people by Europeans. So our culture is global and our culture is ancient. And those people never tried to save no soul to go to no heaven. There was no birth of Jesus. Those people were not living in the year of the Lord. So that is part of the entrapment. When we can step out of the year of the Lord and step into our blackness, then we don't need to be saving any soul from hell. And we don't need to have to spending our money giving to the church that they can help us save ourselves to go to heaven. We just focus on the earth and the resources that are here. Land, water, air, minerals, consciousness, family, nation, the race, Rastafari.
You make we all start uniting, bumble in the bang. Unite, no bother with no fuss, no fight. Unite, no matter if you're black, no white. Unite, you know that the time is right. Unite, no bother with no fuss, no fight. Unite, 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 unite. You know that the time is right. Unite, unite, unite.
Richie, this is how you are search out the program them online. Just keep searching. Just check my website or check Styles FM and you see what I go on. Yeah man, and just spread the vibes.
When the bills them, the rent and the mortgage due. Yeah. When me chalice, when your best friends are gone and it's only you. Yeah. Like a past split, turn up the music. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and the rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet. Yeah. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and the rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet. Yeah. Skanking sweet. For every pain there's a melody. Yeah. For every trouble there's a harmony that brings everything together. So make we sing together. And who said life no order? And every man got this struggle. I beg you to help me, Lord, and let me overcome my struggles. Skanking sweet, yeah. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. Skanking sweet. know feel a reggae music sweetly. Yeah. Everybody wanna feel irate. You know feel a reggae music sweetly. So skanking, grooving, skanking, skanking.
Yes, the metamorphosis is continuing. We're shifting gear now and moving away from that world of ideas into the more practical world of sports. Yeah, this world is more closely related to activities on the earth, where nations and communities and clubs and individuals engage in competition. And oftentimes, the objective is to find a winner. And at the end of the competition, the winner is usually praised and given all sorts of accolades. And of course, wherever there's a winner, there's a loser. And the loser must know how to handle the loss. Sometimes there is great grief and pain with a loss. To the extent that to avoid a loss, sometimes people and players will violate what is supposed to be laws that govern the sports that they play. I'm going to just go right to the core of the matter now, which is international sports. International sports is really a war, a site of confrontation between nations. International sports. Sports is war, coming out of the culture of the Greeks. Winners and losers. So at the international level now, nations will collide. And rather than fire guns and bombs, they might fire fists, or they might fire the ball, or they might use other equipment as the instruments of their confrontation. So in the world of international sports now, cricket is a major sport. So is football. So is athletics. These are major sports. These sports are governed by international bodies. These sports are related to political decisions. There's a link between international sport and international politics. So I want to speak also to the World Cup and the politics of the 2018 World Cup in Russia on the horizon. And then I also want to speak about our own local hero, Usain Bolt, and his attempt to make a transition from running to international club soccer. Great challenge. Well, let us see how it works out. But we're going to begin first with the whole idea of leadership within the world of sport. And what happens to sportsmen and women when they contravene the laws of the game? How are they dealt with? How does society respond? And we have something right on the agenda now with the cricket. The Australians couldn't take the pressure in the game against South Africa, and they resorted to what people call now ball tampering. This is a violation of the laws of the game, because this game of cricket symbolizes a type of behavior that the English think is perfect. It represents Victorian ethics of honesty and fair play, and no signs of protest. There should be no signs of resistance to authority in cricket. But here we have at the highest level now, the Australians demonstrating that not all white men are honest. Because I grew up under the impression that white is right. And white people never do anything wrong. They don't cheat. When they do cheat, it's always a little bit of cheating, so they call it a little white lie. Well, in the cricket world, this white lie has exposed itself as a blatant violation of the ethics of cricket, tampering with the ball to get an unfair advantage. And the whole world come down on the cricket and the captain of Australia and his administration. The Prime Minister has come out strongly against the action. and has condemned this behavior. In Australia, it is said that the captain of the cricket team holds the second highest office next to the Prime Minister. Now, that is a very serious thing to say. And it's a very serious thing if that is the case. Which would mean that the Prime Minister, which is the highest political officer in the land, he's being rivaled by the sports captain of a cricket team. So what's the parallel between cricket and government? Or what's the parallel between sports and governance? We have to examine these things carefully, because we are told that there's a distinction between sports and politics. But here we say them are almost inseparable. The penalties have been harsh. But the penalties in the international sports world is usually very harsh, because these penalties are supposed to serve as an example. Because in cricket, you should follow the rules and play fair. But somehow in politics and economics, those rules don't apply, because pure robbery and thieving going on in the world of politics and economics. And we're not seeing any punishment, because man use money and bypass the law, I escape prison term, etc., etc. The sportsman, them now look as if them so exposed that some form of sanction have to be so severe that it sends a message. And I like to do the same thing within the world of politics. That when them man rob up the bank and rob up the land and violate the loans, they too should be heavily sanctioned. They should be removed from office in the way the cricket captain is being removed and his whole career now is being threatened. We want the politicians to come under the same umbrella, because it's about leadership. It's about setting example. So why use the sportsmen and not the politicians? Why not use the politicians as an example of poor leadership and we'll fire them? Yeah, we need to move the jurisdiction of sports also into the world of politics. And so when a man in politics now violate, him knows him when he get exposed. Him knows a shame when come on him knows him have to retire. We need that type of vibration, particularly in a place like Jamaica, where politicians never retire, no matter what kind of crimes they commit. Whether they are moral or financial, they remain in office. But sports is a very important institution. But people should not be shocked about Australia, because the continent or the island of Australia was really developed by crooks and wanted men. All of these men were exported out of England, because Australia was a prison camp. So somewhere in the psyche of the Australians, robbery has always been there. Me, I say that. Just that we think that because they are of European extract, they are honest. As a youth, I never know some man could have thief in a cricket. I never know some man could do all certain kind of things and spot the ball and all kind of racket. Because I was naive that professional sports is connected to gambling. I was naive. We didn't know that these things are associated. That wherever there's professional sports, there is gambling. And where there is professional sports, there is a level of racism. And so that leads us now to the World Cup. The World Cup now is the world's greatest sporting event for a single sport. 200 and odd nations start out to qualify to get to this top stage. And at the top of the world, the money flows, the advertisement flows. It's $1 billion industry. Now the Russians have earned the right to host this tournament in 2018. But the political arrangements in the world are changing so rapidly that the World Cup itself now could be under threat. What do I mean by that? A couple of weeks ago, there were 2 agents who were killed in London, in Britain. These agents were former Russian spies. And when the Englishman them did them research, them said they were killed by a nerve gas. And this nerve gas came from Russia. So there was a political row. And what the Englishman decided to do is withdraw his diplomats from Russia and encourage the other European countries to do the same. Well, the other European nations have followed. The Americans have also followed. So there's a strong controversy and conflict at the political level, internationally, between Russia, the United Kingdom, the European Union, and the United States. Russia now, remember, is supposed to host the World Cup. The Americans, the Englishmen, the Europeans are putting out the argument that Russia should not hold the World Cup because the president of Russia, Putin, is using this World Cup to advance his political causes. They are linking this World Cup with the Olympics of 1936. In 1936, the Germans held the Olympics. Hitler was the ruler. And at that time, Hitler was promoting Aryanism, white supremacy, as a philosophy. And he wanted to see it demonstrated in sports. Because in sports, nations use sports to show a certain level of superiority, whether it's in running or jumping or throwing. So in 1936, Hitler hosted the World Cup in Berlin, the Olympic Games in Berlin, and tried to show that white race, the Aryan race, the Germans, were the superior race on the earth. So it's not today white men trying to prove that they're superior. It's a long time. And they've been using all of these various avenues to prove it. Where Hitler got a shock of his life. Because the Olympics in 1936 produced a black man, an African named Jesse Owens. And Owens would come to the Olympics and single-handedly destroy Hitler's ideology of white supremacy. He did it by winning 4 gold medals. Long jump, relay, 200, the 100-meter sprint now is a symbol of supremacy of speed. Jamaica has been blessed with speed. And today we have the greatest sprinter that the world has ever seen in Usain Bolt, now retired. So the Olympics is still a great activity. And what Hitler did was unheard of, because the winner of the 100-meter champion usually meet the leader of the country. But you see, when Jesse Owens bust through the tape, Hitler just get up and start walk out of the stadium. Because Hitler could not shake the hand of a black man. It would defy and deny his entire philosophy. So through sports, black man was able to counteract racist ideologies and defeat white supremacist thinking that white man is superior. The irony now of Jesse Owens' victory is that when Jesse Owens returned to the United States, the president of the United States refused to meet Jesse Owens. So, may I show the item now? So from Europe to America, white racism is a part of the feature of these people, where they try to dominate and oppress African black people, physically, psychologically, and in the world of the religious ideologies. Well, they are, in today's world now, the Europeans are concerned that Putin is now using this World Cup to promote his ideology of Russian supremacy. And Russia is demonstrating its power by its influence in places like Syria, in influences in places like North Korea. The Russians are on the rebuild. The Russians are about to establish themselves again as a superpower. Remember now, Russia was dismantled by the United States and the European Union under the counsel of Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. Putin is about reconstructing the union of Soviet states. So is it a reality now that the World Cup is being used by Putin Should the English team withdraw? Would other teams also withdraw? Who say politics and sports don't mix? Check it.
Life never sweet like a chocolate vanilla. Train line me born, me na born in a villa. Little monkey, watch how you a talk to gorilla car. Check government by arms, get the killer. Two party a flex like a party.
Yes, Coach Mark, I hear you. Yes, I know. It's two people, the man and his daughter, and they're gravely ill in hospital now from a nerve gas. Yeah, they're not dead yet. Yeah, man, give thanks.
Singer much less a baller, who is a brought to the winger. Have a right foot like a David Villa. Him mother still a sell in a market. The jam rock is a precious stone. Still is far from a diamond. Take it from Iman. Even though Jamaica nights, you gotta live to save your life. After the sunset comes the darkness of the night. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just be clear what I'm saying. There are these two people in England. Farmer, the virgin is a farmer, agent of the Soviet state, and him switch side. So it is he and his daughter now who has been poisoned by this nerve agent. They are gravely ill in hospital. The Russians are in denial. Them say the thing was made somewhere else. And they say that it is the owners of the British government to prove that these chemicals came from Russia. Well, them gone beyond that because them cleaning out each other country from diplomats. And the world is more tense today than it was last week. And we look at the effects of Russia, what's happening in Syria. We heard 2 days ago that Trump is going to pull out all American forces from Syria. We see that there's a tragic civil war taking place in Yemen with Saudi Arabia, Iran, and again Russia involved. So Russia is everywhere. Let me even say Russia is in America. In the American elections, there's a Russian investigation into the Russians investigating whether the Russians were part of Trump. Russians are everywhere. So, different times we're under. Africans, be aware. We are neither Russians nor Americans. Watch it.
Jambo, vipi, karibuni katika kipindi cha Doc I'm Black. Kipindi chaitwa Metamorphosis. Jifundishe, elimika na mwelimike.
For complete auto repairs and services, come to Akon Auto Technology, located at 33 Bumble Crescent, Port Antonio, Jamaica. We offer specialist services in wheel alignment and wheel balancing, brake drum and disc rotary servicing, state-of-the-art ultrasonic cleaning and testing of your fuel injectors. We also stock an assorted range of auto service parts, tires, and motorcraft batteries. If we don't have it, we will source it for you. Call us at 876-715-5205 or email AkonAutoTech16@gmail.com. Akon Auto Technology, beyond the typical auto mechanic shop.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Black. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
It's Wow Factor Tuesdays with Chungy and Shelly. Every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's entertainment and interaction at its best with features like the Share to Care segment, the Uprising 10 10 countdown, and the ever-controversial love break. Yes, it's the wow factor. Your Tuesday mornings will never be the same again.
Wow Factor Tuesdays is sponsored by Wholesale Photo Lab Studio and DocuCenter and Bobby's Cafe Bar and Grill.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
Metamorphosis rolling through into the final 20 minutes of this edition. So we just spoke a bit about the World Cup and the politics of Russia and the fact that this is a World Cup where Africa may have its greatest chance of winning the cup. There are 5 nations involved, and as the president of Liberia, a former African International Player of the Year, George Weah, suggesting that Nigeria is ready, and I am suggesting that to avoid the financial problems that the national African teams face, other FAs in Africa should put some money together that the players can be paid before the tournament is over, because generally the money is available at the end of the tournament. These African nations don't have the money to give the players, so they're always quarreling at the World Cup. Every time we get to the World Cup, the important stage of the year, so there's no money. And the players are in totally uprising, and the money soon come, and the team lose focus. Because FIFA doesn't give these nations money before the tournament is over, so they can't pay the players. But these more wealthier European nations have enough money to advance to give the players that they must concentrate on football. We don't like this time around that the African players get the same opportunity to just concentrate on the game. That means that we want the money in place. And if the money is not in place by FIFA, perhaps the other African FAs could come together and put some funding together that the teams that are at the World Cup will have enough funding. This is a proposal coming out of the IMAN. Because every time Africa gets close to the finals, even Jamaica, the Caribbean teams that lack resources, the players them always seem to be in a quarrel with the federation over money. Very mighty tool in world football, money. Money is the agent that moves many things in the earth. And professionals only work for the money. Now we have our own local issue to deal with now, with football and money and Usain Bolt. How are these related now? Now we know that Bolt has retired as the greatest Olympic sprinter the world has ever seen. And the Olympics are going on from 775 BC. That's how long Olympics going on, you know. Before the Christ story start, man a run and a jump and all these physical activities, man been doing them from man exists. Cause we are run from dog and we are run down animal, and when Africans come here, we are run from man per horse. We have always been running. So we have the greatest runner, who is now in retirement. But because of his youthfulness at age 31 and his appetite for sports, him still want to engage in sport. But him done with running, because that alone, 3 Olympics, no much more to go. But here, what happened? The man have a new interest. It's football. No, this is a totally different activity now than running, you know. And the major difference is that this is a contact sport. Yeah, athletics, a man can bounce you and touch you, you know. But you say football now, it's a rumble-tumble thing. Kick ass, thump down, licking in your face, kicking in your body, thumping in your mouth. That's how football go on. No, does both have the attitude to be abused physically? So both went to Germany and he got a tryout. 2-day trials, and he played a little ball among some former great ballers. The critique of the coach was that he admires his determination, but he thinks he has a long way to go. He was just being diplomatic. Because Bolt also serves a financial purpose. Bolt is a crowd puller. Bolt will make the turnstile turn. But is it worth the risk to invest in a Bolt at 31 to play high-level club football? So it's an entertainment move. Because Bolt said really don't want to play for Dortmund. They want to play for Manchester United. This is the Manchester High, you know. Manchester United now is a great English team led by the infamous Jose Mourinho. So after the 2-day trial, them say him score a goal and them salad all a man and create some excitement in the grounds. Both say we take the video clipping and send it to Jose now. So Jose to look on it. Because they want to play for Manchester United. Well, I have a friend now who think Bolt going up the wrong tree. She suggests that with all the money Bolt have, why Bolt don't form him own team? Why him don't form him own team and invite the great players he want to play with and go play ball? Well, I'm added to that reasoning by drawing up on my research. My research at the university in sports exposed Bob Marley as one of the earliest men in the country who had money to think about setting up a professional football league. Now, many people don't know this. In 1979, Bob decides he wants to set up a professional league with 4 teams, and him going own the 4 of them. You hear me now? The man say him going own the 4 team them. That means it guarantees that the 4 teams will be financially stable. So I'm saying no to my daughter friend, Afifa. Maybe really that's what Bolt should also be thinking about. How could Bolt create a professional league in Jamaica? And finance those teams. And him can play with any one of them he want. He will be able to invite players from around the world to come and participate in the Bolt Professional League. Is this a way to use your money and talent? Or are you going to try and play ball for your next club that's established? We're throwing this out now, to all those ones and ones who are listening. Should Bolt invest in a professional league in Jamaica? Yeah, where invite the best players who want to play and then play with them in one of the team them and we'll lift up the football in Jamaica professionally. You see, no, is DJ Afifa come up with this idea, you know. Me just amplify it. So could that be the direction for self-reliance and development? We want the Usain Bolt camp to think about it. Think about it seriously. Because him have the power to attract. Even the hotels, they will get involved now. Each hotel put in one team in the league. Each business house put in one team. And there could be a professional league with the Bulls as the magnet that galvanize the players and the infrastructure for this league in Jamaica. It would be a big league in Jamaica. At the moment, we have a thing called the Red Stripe Premier League. That league is now in the final stages. There are 6 teams left. And I'm going to tell you something. 5 of those 6 teams come from one zone in Jamaica called Kasafa. In other words, 5 of the team is town side. And 1 team come from St. Catherine, which is just a stone throw away from town. Now think about it. St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, all of those parishes are absent in the National Premier League. So the national team, which is comprised of the Premier League players, are absent of the potential players from about 7 parishes in Jamaica. So how can the team that we're producing really be a national team? It's a town side. Or if we find a way for Jamaica to have a real national league that represents all of the parishes in the country. And I'm making a recommendation. Portland, St. Thomas, Jamaica, look at how Kingston and St. Andrew rule the football. Right? It's 5 teams come from Kingston and St. Andrew. But the underlying reality is that Kingston and St. Andrew is 2 parishes. It's not 1 parish. There's 2 parishes fighting as 1 unit. So they are producing the best clubs and the top class players. So I recommend that other parishes now join up and work as one. Like St. Thomas and Portland. These 2 football associations should work as one. That the teams who win the league from St. Thomas and Portland will be strong enough to represent the region in the Premier League. The same thing would happen with St. Anne's and St. Mary. So in other words now, all of the parishes fighting as individual parishes. Kingston and St. Andrew is a unification of 2 parishes. And they dominate local football. Part of the revolution would be to expand the National League to include all parishes, but then twin the parishes, the same way Kingston and St. Andrew twinned, for the football to rise. And I tell you them, Portland would have a team, and St. Thomas would have a representation. If we were to twin the parishes, the way Kingston and St. Andrew are twinned. We're thinking, JFF, think.
You know it's the Doghouse Productions.
So there's a comment on the Facebook page from Jomus Wasome. Him say heaven and hell are states of the mind. What you do you think?
One thing what you gotta do is don't let them in. Say them are your friend, but you find out for your life. Them a plot and them a scheme. You see the wicked one them. Can't bear to see we face. And you see the bad mind one them. Head up in a very, very bad state. Fire body pound them. They all got eradicated. Babylon, I know how them a deal with.
So I say, me and Eel, Melchizedek, and Jomo, Wasome, Nicholas Rastafarian, and D. Ingleton, and Facebook Army, who patrolling through cyberspace and absorbing metamorphosis. Especially up to the ones in California, in Arizona, in Carolinas, Atlanta, head up to my brethren Claude, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. All tri-state people, head on yourself and focus on the eye that is within.
To come, 'cause my heart is willing and my spirit is strong. You know, sister, that I column this, foundation this, I real rock this, and them can't match this. Sister, I column this, foundation this, I real rock this, no them can't match this. It was a fool who built up on sand and not stone. Give thanks every day for the strength in my bones. Say I column this, foundation this, real rock. I've been foolish, but I still made it through it. Now I'm better, firm and more rooted. He who thinks better, I go do it. Trusting on the works of the Father and just work like a harder you will. Reap the fruits of what you do. Beg you stay true to the other, stay true to yourself. Me want to hear me sister and me brother say, you know, see I column this, foundation this, I real rock this, and them can't match this. They say I column this, foundation this.
I know the foundation of sports is crucial right across the world. Sports as an industry is the most talked about, is the most watched activity on the earth. Sports. We just finalized our high school athletics in Kingston with a thing called Champs. Champs is a representation of the Olympics at a micro level, based upon the attendance and the energies and the quality performances. And we have out of our mini Olympics, one name kind of registered in my thoughts is a youth named Christopher from Calabar. Now, Christopher Taylor. This youth here now is being projected as a potential Usain Bolt. There's a whole heap of pressure being put on the shoulders of a young man. There are those who are arguing that he should absent himself from his final year in high school next year and go professional. Now that is a major consideration, because the professional life is a full-time life. And there's a choice that will have to be made. It will mean abandoning the what you call education process formally to pursue money and a career in sports. Risky movements, because the world of sport is not a straightforward journey based upon something called injuries and unforeseen events. Is there a way to prevent these events from occurring to an athlete? It's important, I think, that there is some form of balance within one's pursuit. And the formal education is a way of growing, but then there is informal learning. And most of the professional athletes learn educational things informally. It's a risk that can be taken, because those who succeed become the model. So we have Usain Bolt, and we have Shellyan, and we have VCB, we have those who are successful. What we don't see is those who fail. And those who fail are in a large amount. Sometimes the failure of these youths turn them into problems in the society. So I think we have to be very careful how we try to push this youth into the professional world. It's not really here in Jamaica, but it's kind of here. It's not really here. So I'm suggesting that give the youth a chance to go and grow. Let him develop his acumen, his personality, his physical strength, and his ability to make proper decisions. So allow the youth and nobody rush him, because vicariously you are experiencing his success. Enough times the coach them mash up the youth, them out of champs, and we never ever see them again. So make us hold it. Make us cool it. Let us tone down the exuberance and let the youth grow. Metamorphosis.
So remember, all highs is unlost. So remember, all highs is unlost. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move. There's some little girls and boys in the ring. Sha-la-la-la-la. There's some little girls and boys in the ring. Sha-la-la-la-la. Want some understanding?
Hail up all my virgin in St. Catherine, Osa border. And I want the people them go in Osa border restaurant, you know. It's called, I don't remember what name to write it. What you call it again? What name? What's the place name? But it's near GC Foster. And it's vegetarian food and vegan food. I'll go in there next week. Yeah, man. I'll come check my virgin and sit in and have some vital food in an area that is Afrocentric. So our roads lead to Osa's place. I'll soon tell you what its name. Go up on the Facebook and check out Osa Border. And hear up to my other brethrens. Brother Mark in Spain Town. The SO, what do you call it? Zozo. State of emergency is in Spain Town. Criminals are on the run again. Where they're going, nobody knows. But for now, peace to the people in Spain Town.
We got to be ready. Not like Freddy. More than Freddy. Rastaman.
Yeah, man, the Osa place named the Alternative Restaurant. Yes. Everything is in the brain, you know. We just have to relax and make the cells bring around the data. It's a thing where we can't remember something, you know. You know, so you can't remember something, you must take your mind off it and it comes to you. The mind is the power, you know. I tell you them. And the brain are the agent. So we could develop the brain to enhance mind power. And then we can create as we are endowed to do, divinely, majestically. Yes, metamorphosis rolling through. Yeah.
There's some little girls and boys in the rain. Cha-la-la-la-la. They got to prepare. So remember, all eyes is on us. All eyes is on us. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move. Let's move.
Guiding I eternally. Guide I. It's the voice that sets me free. Guide I. Whispering inside of me. Guide I. I feel peace and harmony.
Yeah, metamorphosis going out, giving thanks for another occasion, hailing up the engineer Cassidy who make things go, hail up the Jacksons, Jacko, and those who are part of Styles FM. Remember Fan Fusion coming around in a few months' time. You just tune in, and as usual, you know, if you can't be good, just strive to be the best. Keep positive in your thoughts, and your actions will follow. You can check me out on Thursday evening at my Facebook page at Doc Iman Black for Thursday evening football, sports reasoning, where we discuss sports at the level of politics and race and gender. And then Saturday evening, there is Saturday Night Live from 7 to 9, same place, Doc Iman Black. And then check me on my website. There are podcasts of various programs, and there are books, and there are things to excite the mind. So again, give thanks again, Size FM. Give thanks for my guests and my sponsors, rather. Hail Up Zilla Kitchen and Clifford's Guest House. Yes, I'm on Block, saying peace and prosperity to the eye and to the eye, within thy relations, within thy family, within thy job, within thyself. Let peace be supreme and acquire wealth. Vital. I'm on Block. Out.
Do you hear the voice that's whispering, yeah? A message of hope, love and unity, yeah? To all mankind, all humanity. Shh. Guide I. Guide I.
This is Styles FM.